I get asked this question at least several times a week, and today we're going to talk about it. Let's get started. Well, hey guys, thanks for joining me for today's video. I really appreciate you being here to hang out with me for a little bit, and we're going to talk about something that's really important today. We're going to talk about what the best speaker is to play your digital platform through. Now, years ago, I did a video on how to pick the right FRFR cab for you, and I think at that time, the Friedman ASC12 was a big hit in the industry, and in its class, it's actually one of the best speaker cabs out there as far as the FRFRs are concerned. And I still stand by that statement, but today we're going to talk about an even better option for you, especially when we're talking about home use. I'm not talking about on stage. I'm talking about what's the best speaker system to use for your digital platform when you're just practicing at home and you don't need to keep up with a loud drummer and a loud PA system on stage or anything like that. I'm just talking regular practice time where 90% of us play most of the time anyways. I mean, most of the time we're playing at home, not on stage or in a band practice setting. So because of that, I think this is a very important subject for us to cover today. Now, real quick, this video is sponsored by my website, Tone Wars, where I make a lot of captures for the Quad Cortex, the Kemper, and the ToneX pedal. So if you want to get some really good guitar tones for any one of those digital platforms, head on over to my website. The link is in the description, and get yourself some awesome guitar tones for whichever platform you use. And this video is also sponsored in part by Kali Audio. Kali Audio actually reached out to me the other day, and basically they emailed me and said, hey, we've been checking out your channel and we really like what you do, and would you mind reviewing one of our new speakers for us? And I'm like, yeah. And the thing is you guys don't have to worry about me shilling for Kali Audio here. I mean, I already own 2 pair of their speakers because I love them. I have a pair upstairs when I'm playing in my living room, and I also have a pair down here when I'm doing live streams and stuff and I need an audio source to listen to myself, whether I'm playing through my aux box or any digital platform. I'm always playing through the Kali Audios. So I already like the product, so I can easily recommend it to you because I've purchased them myself. Kali Audio was kind enough to send them to me and let me keep them, but that doesn't mean I'm going to say nice things about them because I already own 2 pair of their speakers that I bought with my own money anyways. And these will be added to my collection, and this is perfect timing because I've been looking for some better speakers to use for when I edit my videos. I've been using the Mackies just to have as a functional speaker, but they just sound kind of fizzy, and I don't care for the guitar tones when I'm editing. But now, since I'll be using the Kali LP8 V2s on my editing desk, I'll be able to enjoy the editing process for the first time in a while. So I really appreciate that very much. It's so nice when you reach 10,000 subscribers, companies start reaching out to you, and poof, things appear. So this is the new Kali Audio LP8 V2 studio monitor. So basically this is the version 2 of the LP8s that came out a few years ago. Now I have the LP6s upstairs and I freaking love them. I have the version 1 and I still think they sound amazing. So, what's funny is I posted a picture of these on Facebook the other day and so many people commented like, I have those and they're amazing, especially when you talk about how affordable they are, and they really are amazing, and not just because of the price. They're amazing anyways, but the price makes them even more amazing. I mean, these are $249 a piece. That's a very affordable studio monitor, and they sound amazing. So when you unbox these, you get this quick start guide, and it also has a QR code. And when you scan that, it takes you right to the manuals, and you can download all the manuals and everything for them. And it's really easy to understand. And on the back, it also has some diagrams that you can refer to, so you can set up the dip switches accordingly. So depending on where you have them in your room, how they're elevated, or wherever they're placed, they have settings on those dip switches that will be appropriate for wherever you put them in your room. Super simple, easy to set up, and you're done. So now I'm going to give you a quick comparison between the Kali Audio LP8 V2s and the Friedman ASC12 cab and show you how different they sound from each other. And I'm going to be using this Tascam recorder to capture the audio from each cab. Now, the idea here isn't to capture the best studio perfect guitar sound through each one of these speakers. What I'm trying to do is just capture the room sound so that you can hear the difference between each one of these speakers. And I have the microphone placed in the same exact proximity of both the ASC12 and the Cali Audio speaker. This is about as fair as I can do it. And again, I'm not looking for the best studio quality recording. I'm just trying to capture the room sound of each one of these speakers so that you can hear just the difference. So you're listening for the difference between each of the speakers, not the recording quality. And the microphone's placed probably about a foot away from each one. Well, there's a pretty big difference between them, isn't there? So in my opinion, with the Friedman ASC12, as good as that cabinet is, there was definitely a congested sound, especially with the top end of that particular speaker cabinet. And with the Cali Audio Studio monitor, it just had a more open sound and a much better, clearer top end, and there was no congestion in it at all. And I just feel like it represented the guitar tone a lot better, especially in the room. And again, don't judge exactly how these sound by the microphone that I use. I just wanted to show you how different they sounded with the same mic in the same placement. I mean, of course, if you want a true representation of what each one of these speakers sound like, I mean, you're better off listening to them in the room. But I'm just doing the best I can here. It sucks that I have to over-explain everything, but you always get a group of clowns that come in and, oh, but you should have done it this way. And that, it's like, dude, I'm just putting everything on an equal playing field so that you can hear the difference when all things are equal. All right, enough with the over-explaining. So as far as I'm concerned, between the two, I would easily pick the studio monitors. And I really think that I would be able to dial in my tones a lot easier with the studio monitors because I wouldn't have to overcome the issues that I was dealing with the Friedman FRFR cab. There's no congestion. It doesn't sound as dull and muffled as the Friedman does. I mean, it just sounds clear and articulate. And again, I can have a much better, more accurate representation of the guitar sound. Now, if we're talking stage, yeah, I'd bring the Friedman to the stage because it's definitely going to be loud enough to keep up with all the volume that's going on in the room. But we're talking about home use here, which is more important in my opinion because we play our guitar at home more than we play it anywhere else. So here's a couple points about FRFR cabs. As good as they are, there are some limitations with them. And I mean, let's face it, there's really nothing full range or flat response about them. Otherwise, they would all sound exactly the same, right? But that's not the case. They all sound vastly different from each other. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, studio monitors all don't sound the same either. You're right, but there is a more cohesive, tonality coming out of studio monitor speakers than there are with FRFR cabs. I mean, that's for damn sure. I mean, the problem with FRFR cabs is they're trying to do two things at once. They're trying to sound like a guitar cabinet and a studio monitor at the same time, and they kind of do a pretty good job of both of those things, but not a complete job of both of those things. You know what I mean? They're serving two masters, and it's hard to do two things very well when they're two things that you're doing are completely different from each other. Where studio monitors are just trying to sound like studio monitors. They're trying to be flat and full range and give you like a true representation of what you're listening to. And you just can't accomplish doing a full range flat response type situation when you're trying to be a guitar cab as well. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, they're doing two things at once and they're kind of doing both of them a little half-assed. And I don't mean that as an insult to them, but they're not doing either one of them fully because let's face it, FRFR cabs do not sound like guitar cabinets. They just don't. And they don't sound like studio monitors either. So they're, again, doing something kind of half-cocked in both of those departments. And there's a sacrifice there, right? You're just not going to get that studio monitor type sound out of any FRFR cab. No matter what the marketing tells you, it's just not going to happen. The other thing is when you typically play through an FRFR cab, where's it at? Well, it's on the floor, and it's pointing at your knees. And last time I checked, our ears are not on our knees, they're up here. So it's kind of hard to get a really good representation of your guitar sound when it's bouncing off the floor and, you know, it's not coming straight at you, you know. So if you're going to use a FRFR at home, you might want to tilt it back so at least it's pointing up at you so you can get a better idea what's going on there. Because having speakers pointed at our ears makes it a lot easier for us to dial in our guitar tones. Especially considering the top end aspect of things, because if you have your cab pointing at your knees, a lot of times you're going to be like, man, I need a little more top end. And then you go on stage and now you're too bright, right? Through the PA, you know, because you've dialed everything in so it sounds good when it's pointed at your knees. But your audience is listening to speakers pointed at their ears. So you got to keep all that stuff in mind. So now let's talk about why studio monitors are actually better than FRFR cabs, especially when you consider home use. Number one, you have stereo sound. I mean, when you get studio monitors, especially the affordable ones like the Cali Audios, you could put them, you know, on both sides of the room and have that really nice stereo imaging. So if you're playing your guitar and you turn on your delay and you got ping pong delay, you got these awesome stereo effects, stereo chorus, stereo flangers, stereo phasers. I mean, everything just sounds bigger, fuller, and you get that really nice stereo imaging. And once you start playing through studio monitors, especially when you have them separated with all the stereo effects, I mean, you never want to go back to anything that's mono, because when you go back to mono, everything sounds so small and centralized and focused, and you lose a lot of size of sound when you go to a singular speaker cabinet. I mean, like I said, the stereo separation is just absolutely amazing. I'll take stereo, ping pong delay, reverb, chorus, or anything like that any day over any mono version of those same effects. It just sounds bigger and better. The other thing is studio monitors are, like I said earlier, way more accurate when it comes to dialing in your guitar tones. I mean, there's no intentional coloration in them like there is in FRFR cabs. I mean, let's face it, if FRFR cabs were super accurate and were flat and full range, studios would be able to use them to mix their albums, but they don't, do they? They still use studio monitors because they really are full range and flat response. I just think that FRFR, that whole full range flat response thing that they called those guitar cabs, is a bit of a marketing gimmick. I'm not saying that they're 100% wrong, but I think it's a little overplayed with those. And I just think that they should probably pick a better term or something that's a little more accurate in the description of FRFR cabs. And another benefit to studio monitors is something I alluded to earlier. They're pointed at our ears, not our knees, so you'll hear everything more accurately and you won't be over dialing in certain frequencies because you're not hearing them properly because the sound is hitting your knees, not your ears. Another benefit with the studio monitors is a lot of times we want to practice to backing tracks, right? And we can do that with both units. We can play backing tracks and our guitar at the same time through FRFR cabs or studio monitors, but I'm telling you, on the studio monitors, the backing tracks sound a lot better. There's not that coloration there to kind of muffle things and make them sound a little off. They sound really good through the studio monitors as opposed to the FRFR cabs. And another thing that I've said a couple times, but I'll say it again, you can honestly trust the sounds that you're getting out of the studio monitors as opposed to the FRFR cabs. Because of the way FRFR cabs are voiced and colored, a lot of times we'll hear things or not hear things, and we'll dial things in and out that we shouldn't be doing because we're just making up for what we're hearing too much of or not enough of with those cabs. And then we plug into a studio or a PA system, and all of a sudden everything sounds kind of off, you know. So you won't ever have to deal with that when you dial in your tones on studio monitors. Now, when I make my profiles here with the Quad Cortex, the Kemper, or the ToneX pedal, I never check them on FRFR cabs. I always check them on my Cali Audio studio monitors here, and if they sound good through those, I can trust that they actually do sound good, and I can trust the kind of feedback, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but the feedback I'm getting from the speakers telling me that everything sounds like it should, or if there's an issue and something doesn't sound right, I can also trust that the speakers are telling me the truth about that, and I need to fix that issue and maybe reshoot that capture or profile and fix it and make it sound better. But if I was to do that same thing through an FRFR cab, let's say it just sounded too congested or too dark or whatever, I wouldn't know if it's the cab or the actual profile I did. But if I have those same issues, with one of my profiles through a studio monitor, I could trust that, yeah, it's not the cab. It's definitely an issue with the profile or the way I dialed in the amp before I profiled it. So I need to make some adjustments to the amp or the mics and reshoot that capture. Besides all that, you save a ton of money by getting studio monitors, especially the Kali Audios. I mean, again, these are $249 a piece. So for 500 bucks, you can get all that great sound, the trust that you'll have with these monitors, the awesome stereo imaging for all of your effects, and that really big sound that you'll have because you get that really nice separation. And they're affordable, so it's just awesome. There's really no reason not to switch to studio monitors when you're talking about playing your digital platform at home. Everything just sounds better, and I'm just telling you, once you get used to that really big stereo sound, you're never going to go back to anything else. I mean, look at the pricing of some of the FRFR cabs out there. I mean, you got one here for $2139, you got another one at $1,700, and the Friedman's $1399. I mean, that's a lot of money for an FRFR cab, or you can spend $249 a piece on the Kali Audio LP8 V2s. And I just, to me, it's a no-brainer. We're all looking to save money these days, and we all want affordable ways of enjoying our guitar sounds and practicing and stuff like that. And we don't want to go broke just to have good guitar tone at home. And I'm telling you, this is a really good option for you. And some people like, oh, what about that thump, that low end that I love so much? These have tons of great low end in them. A really good balanced amount of lows, mids, and highs. I mean, they just really represent your guitar tone really well. So don't worry, it's not like it's going to sound small and just, kind of cheap or whatever through when you're playing your guitar through them. They sound amazing. They really do. Now, the thing that's really odd is, like, how do I demo these? I mean, basically, I could play through them and tell you what I'm experiencing here. I mean, I could definitely do that, but miking a studio monitor just doesn't make any sense. I mean, how do you mic a studio monitor properly? And, because the mic's going to color things. So those of you who have watched this channel enough know that I've been using the Kali Audios for years. I use them down here, and I've actually had people over, and when we go live, we play through the Kali Audio. So if you've come over my house and you've been on the show, you can attest to that. They're sitting right here, got the Kalis here, got the Kalis in the living room, and I'm just telling you, they are a great bang for the buck speaker. I mean, even Glenn Fricker highly recommends them, and that speaks volumes right there, because he's pretty particular about a lot of things regarding studio gear. So once again, if you're looking for a really good way to listen to your guitar tones at home, and you want something that you can trust and something that you can enjoy listening to your guitar sounds through, I would definitely recommend going with studio monitors over FRFR cabs 8 days a week and twice on Sunday. And I'm going to take it a step further and highly recommend the speakers that I've been using for years, and that's the Kali Audio line. Any one of them would work really well for you. So just pick the size and the price that works best for you, and I guarantee you're going to like them. I really do. And if I didn't like them, I wouldn't be using them for as long as I have. I really do trust these speakers. I trust everything that's coming out of them. They just sound amazing. And it's not just that, oh, they're flat and I could trust them. I actually like listening to them. Everything sounds really good through them. And I have a website where I sell a lot of guitar sounds through, and these are the speakers that I trust with all of the guitar sounds that I make. If they sound good through these, I know they're good. If the guitar sounds that I'm making don't sound good through these, I have to reshoot them and reconfigure things to make them sound good. This is what I'm hanging my trust on right here for all the guitar tones that I sell on my website. So if that's not a strong enough endorsement for you, I don't know what to tell you. They really are great, and I think that you're going to like all of the other reasons why I recommend these speakers as well. So if you really want to save some money and get something that sounds amazing, look up the Kali Audios, and there's a link in the description of my video, and it'll take you right to Sweetwater, and you can get them delivered to you, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on them. And if you already own Kali Audios, please comment below on your thoughts about them as well. Well, I want to thank Kali Audio for sending me these. I really appreciate it. You guys just upped my game over in the editing department, and I'm actually going to edit this video with these and enjoy them, so I can't wait to do that. But anyways, well, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I also appreciate you clicking on the link that takes you over to Sweetwater to get these. It does help me out. So that I can keep the lights on here and continue doing videos for you. And it helps you too, because you get a great product and you get a really good deal on it. Well, to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with a new episode. I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.